Everyone else. And we're going to start with attempts by Peugeot Citroën to dig itself out of a financial hole. Europe's number 2 car maker has struck a deal that will see China's Dongfeng and the French state each take a 14% stake in the company. That was confirmed earlier this Wednesday when Peugeot Citroën unveiled last year's financial results. The car maker remains deep in the red. It lost 2.3 billion euros last year. Despite that, outgoing chief executive Philippe Varin told France 24 earlier that he's handing over a company in good shape. Shirley Sitman has more.
Peugeot says it's stopping the bleeding. Losses were still high in 2013, but half as much as the previous year. CEO Pierre Varin is stepping down, leaving the job to Carlos Tavares. According to Varin, although the company is in the red, it's in a much brighter state than before.
What I'm very proud of today is that I will be in a position to give to Carlos Tavares the keys of the car in a fantastic shape.
PSA Peugeot Citroën, the second European car maker, has sealed a deal with the French state and with Chinese company Dongfeng. They're investing a much-needed 800 million euros each. The main goal now is boosting car sales in Asia, the biggest expanding market, where PSA Peugeot Citroën is lagging behind its rivals. There are concerns that the three main shareholders won't see eye to eye in the future. The French have already set a few conditions.
No plant will be shut down. Peugeot will have to make 1 million cars per year in France until 2016, invest 1.5 billion euros, and keep 75% of its research labs in France.
Meanwhile, managers and their Chinese allies signal production may be taken out of France to slash costs. Workers' unions are dreading new company shutdowns in a few years' time.
France and Germany want to strike a deal on a European financial transactions tax before May. François Hollande and Angela Merkel outlined that ambition during a joint meeting Wednesday. Merkel said that a deal before May, when voters will elect a new European Parliament, is, quote, a very important signal, unquote. Both leaders have committed to a tax on stock and bond transactions, but the idea is facing opposition from the financial sector. And so far, only 11 European countries, including France and Germany, have expressed support.
There's will on both sides, and this is something which has united us from the beginning, to find an agreement on the financial transactions tax before the European elections.
And let's bring you up to date with the stock markets in the United States. The indices there are trading slightly lower this hour. Minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest rate-setting meeting suggest that Fed officials believe that they can continue unwinding their stimulus of the U.S. economy. And this is the reaction in the financial markets, at least so far, with the Nasdaq down around about 0.33%, whereas the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, well, they're still below the flat line, but not by much. In Europe earlier, we saw the indices closing pretty flat. The CAC 40 was helped up by a strong report from cement company Lafarge, and that is why we saw the CAC 40 trading up ever so slightly, around about 0.25%. Now, shares in Crédit Agricole helped the indices here in France this Wednesday as the French bank swung back into the black. The lender posted a fourth quarter profit of 612 million euros, slightly less than expected in the fourth quarter. That was much better, though, than the 4 billion quarterly loss announced this time last year. Crédit Agricole has suffered because of bets in Greece, Spain and Portugal, but it is now seen to be recovering from those bets. Meanwhile, shares in Danish brewer Carlsberg also popped during Wednesday's trading. It came as the beer maker posted a higher than expected fourth quarter profit. Carlsberg predicts that beer sales will fall this year in Europe and Russia, but it expects continued growth in Asia, where it will focus its efforts. And the unemployment rate in Britain edged up, surprisingly, at the end of 2013. In the 3 months to December, the jobless rate came in at 7.2%. That follows a slightly lower reading of 7.1% for the 3 months to November. It's the first rise since early 2013, and economists say it may boost the Bank of England's pledge to keep interest rates low for longer. I'm going to be back with more business news in around about an hour's time. But for now, it's back to you, Chris, and the sports news, I believe.
Thanks very much, Marcus. It is the sports news now. Time to say hello to Dan Levy. Good evening, Dan. We're going to start off with European football, and after last